We love a Georgia girl. We love a Georgia bulldog, go dogs and whatnot. Welcome to another video focused on the best university in the SAC, UGA. I'm acting like I actually watched their football. Hey y'all, it's AK and welcome to or back to another video. If you are new here, welcome to the family, welcome to a new video, welcome to my channel, and if you are a returner, you already know what to do, what's popping around these parts. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be focusing on something that is definitely more popular on my channel, which are my college talks and college information. If you are new here, you may or may not know, but you do definitely know now, I go to UGA, the University of Georgia in Athens, Georgia. Of course, as a YouTuber, particularly one in college, and especially one that goes to the University of Georgia, I do get a lot of questions and comments regarding things about UGA, student life, student living, and particularly in today's video, we are going to be touching on student living and student life as it relates to university housing. Because I get so many questions from incoming freshmen, people that watch my video, kind of have more idea of what a dorms, situation is like here on our campus. This video is going to kind of answer a lot of those questions about where things are located, pros and cons of living different places, and just my own personal experience. But as a student, as somebody who has lived here, done that, visited that, I feel like I'll just give you guys more of a better understanding of the different communities and different residential buildings here on campus. So yeah, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna go ahead and hop right into the video and give y'all the 411 on UGA Housing. Down is because I do have my notes here. I wanna give y'all all the information, no tidbits left out. And here at UGA, we have 7 different residential communities to live in, and these include the Hill community, the Myers community, the Reed community, the high rises, ECV, my personal favorites, University Village, and the Health Sciences residential community. So 7 different potential areas to live on around campus, and these range from north, south, east to west campus. And each of them, of course, do have their own pros and cons of living in this space. Before I even begin, all of our dorms here on campus, all of our housing communities here on campus will have generally the same amenities for a student, which include a community kitchen, a washing machine, but washing machines, Wi-Fi, and then self-temp control, meaning that in your own room, your own living space, you have the ability to, regulate your own, temperature of your space. So it's not just like the entire building is set on like 75, because I know I would be crying, especially at nighttime. First off, our first community here on UGA's campus I'm gonna talk to you about is the Hill community. So the Hill community has 6 individual buildings that comprise that entire community, and is located at the heart of campus, which is essentially by our main student life areas, which are going to include the Tate Student Center. So as a UGA student, you will traverse Tate, especially when we're actively going to classes, like, full time. You will traverse Tate at least once during your day. And then we have Bolton Dining Hall, which is essentially like the main dining hall on campus. And then Sanford Stadium, of course, where we have the Georgia Bulldogs football team that, goes and plays, lights up the stadium and whatnot, occasionally fumbles, but that's besides the point. So in Hill community, it's called Hill because it literally sits on a hill from those areas. We have Boggs Hall, Hill Hall, of course, Church Hall, Lipscomb Hall, Morris Hall, and Oglethorpe Hall, otherwise known as O House. So for most of these communities, they essentially have the same kind of amenities throughout the building. So if there's any like extra things that are like particular to a specific building, then I'll definitely be sure to make mention of that. But for the most part, I'm just gonna kind of group them together. Begin with Boggs Hall, Hill Hall, Church Hall, Lipscomb Hall, and Mell Hall are all for our first year students. They are co-ed buildings, meaning that you will have both males and females living in this space, and they have no elevators. No elevators, and also these buildings have 4 floors. So if you're contemplating living here, be mindful of the fact that, if you're on the 4th floor, you will have to walk up 4 flights of stairs. However, they do have ramps, I'm pretty sure. And then in these buildings, you will also have double rooms. So what a double room means is that you will have 2 people in a room, so you and your roommates. And then these buildings also have no carpets, so of course be mindful of that in the colder times. So maybe bring a rug. You do have sinks in your room, which really helps because you have community bathrooms. So having a sink in your room kind of helps in the morning as far as like maybe being able to just brush your teeth and wash your face in your sink. However, you do have community bathrooms, meaning that you have to share that bathroom space with people on your floor. Then we move into Morris Hall. So Morris Hall is actually a little bit away from these centralized buildings that I just mentioned. However, Morris Hall is closer to downtown, so it's closer to the Arch, and it's literally walking distance to go downtown. Then it's also close to MLC, Peabody Hall, and then Terry College of Business. So those are going to be some major buildings on campus that you're going to frequent. And then we have the infamous O House or Oglethorpe Hall. So O House is kind of different from these other buildings in this community. O House actually has 9 floors, and it's also co-ed like the other buildings. But with that, having 9 floors, it has elevators, of course. I couldn't imagine having to do a fire drill with a 9-floor building. In contrast from the other buildings in this community, O House actually has suites. So with a suite is essentially where you will have your own bathroom. You will have a community bathroom. You and maybe a roommate, because they do have double and single suites, will share your own bathroom, which is such a plus. I feel like O House has such an optimal location. Not to mention, O House has its adjacent dining hall. It's literally my favorite dining hall on campus. As an O House resident, you literally are a hop and a skip away from breakfast, lunch, and dinner. To give you an idea of this building, all the other buildings in this community have about 160 residents. However, O House has 500 residents. So definitely a stark contrast in the amount of people that live there. But like I said, such an optimal location. And the Hill community definitely will give you that traditional freshman experience, as well as being close to those main areas that will really help you out as you start to begin to learn campus and navigate, take the buses. So yeah, that is the Hill community. And on to the next community, which is going to be our Myers Quad, our Myers community. Having lived here on campus, taking the buses, and then also lived where I lived in ECV, I feel as though Myers Quad has the most central location. I know we talk about Hill being in the heart of campus, but I feel like Myers has the most central optimal location in relation to things such as like the Segment Coliseum, where we have basketball, and then we also have Ramsey moving towards East Campus, and then also it being by Tate, Memorial Hall. It has like an equal distance between everything, so it's a really good place to live, especially as a freshman. Here we have 4 different central buildings that you can live in, and then Myers is also home to a lot of our academic communities that I'll get into as we go through each building. If you're a STEM student, not only do you have community here residentially, but also Myers is literally a hop and a skip to the SLC, the Science Learning Center, and that's going to be a majority of where your classes will be as a STEM student. First of all, in Myers community, we have Mary Linden Hall. So Mary Linden Hall is actually one of our oldest buildings, oldest residential buildings here on campus, and it kind of really shows in the architecture. Mary Linden has very 18th century type of feel, like very formal living space, a very formal building. It's older buildings that you could expect to see in maybe, I don't want to say colonial times, but that's going to be my best description. Mary Linden has 3 floors, and they do actually have elevators now. Like I mentioned earlier, we have academic learning communities here on campus that kind of allow you to live with students on that same kind of academic path as you. So Mary Linden is home to our French and Spanish communities. We're going to have, of course, 2 people to a room and then a community bathroom. And then we move on to Myers Hall, home to the infamous Myers Quad, a vast, beautiful, expansive quad that I honestly love, especially when it's sunny. We've had concerts here. Just so much student life is found here. People throwing frisbees, people reading, people studying. And so here at Myers Quad, we do have the home of the UGA honors program. So if you're an honors student taking honors classes, you'll find community here with students that are just, on the same path as you. And then in Myers Quad, you will find doubles with community bathrooms. However, there are some options for single/shared bathroom suites where you might have your own personal bathroom. I know I had a friend living in Myers Quad, and she actually had the opportunity to have her own bathroom that was shared with somebody on the other side. So the next building in this community is going to be Rutherford Hall, and at the moment we are actually currently building another building. I believe it's called Building 332. However, prior to this building being built, Rutherford Hall is our newest residential building here on campus, and here we are home to the Franklin Arts and Sciences College. So I know my friend Kendra actually moved here our freshman year. She, of course, was a STEM student in Franklin, and so she had community here. They had like a nice conference room on the first floor where everybody could meet and work together. Rutherford aesthetically is one of my favorite buildings here on campus just because it looks so grand. They have like a really nice marble staircase, Architecturally, it just looks very castle-like in my opinion. And here you can find 4 floors with elevators. It is again co-ed. Majority of these buildings are going to be co-ed, with the exception of like I believe 2 buildings. So you're going to have the option of living in a single room by yourself with a bathroom, or a double room with a bathroom, but you do have your private shared bathrooms. I would have liked living here if I was a freshman. And then we have Sewell Hall. So Sewell Hall is one of our only female halls here on campus. Just to kind of give you an idea of the building, we have 90 residents living in Sewell Hall, so it's a very small building. Sewell Hall has 3 floors with no elevators, so it's a very small condensed building, but I guess because of that, you'll probably likely be able to just meet more people. Very much so like Southern Belle, Southern Charm type of feel, you know, grand porches, rocking chairs. So our next community is going to be the Reed community, and in my opinion, nothing too crazy. You don't really hear too much about the Reed community. It does have an optimal location. It's right behind Sanford Stadium, and it's near the Tate and MLC area. Literally, you can walk out of your building and be right at Tate, right at MLC. On game days, for sure, you do have the pro of being close to the stadium, but also the con of like a lot of people being in your area. Allowing, you know, it's gonna be really loud on game day, so that could be a pro or con. In this community, we have Payne Hall and Reed Hall, and the only difference between those is that Payne has no elevators and Reed has elevators. They're both 3 floors and they're both co-ed. Nothing too crazy with Reed. A good spot, a good location. I don't really have too much to speak on that because I don't really believe I've actually visited. Oh no, I have. Our next community that we're gonna talk about today is going to be our high rises. Our high rises are all located on Baxter Street, and this is going to house all of our freshman people. Our freshmen, our incoming freshmen, this is your spot. So these buildings include Brumby Hall, Creswell Hall, and Russell Hall. And for the most traditional, lively, bubbly, doors open, meeting everybody type of experience that you're gonna get your freshman year, these are gonna be your halls. And so to begin with, Brumby Hall. So Brumby Hall was actually just recently had a complete interior renovation. They renovated the student rooms, community bathrooms, the study rooms, study spaces, the main floor. It closely resembles like a conference hotel, just very high-tech renovations that just made it such a great place to live. And it's really popular with students year-round. And here at Brumby, we have like the iconic rotunda, which is just really nice meeting space for people to come hang out and chill, get to know people. Very, very bubbly atmosphere. We have 9 floors with elevators, of course, and then double occupancy rooms with community bathrooms. People say that you get that Brumby butt from walking up the hill, because Brumby is more located at the top of all the buildings. And so people claim that they got that, you know, the Brumby butt, the Brumby legs from living in Brumby. Then have Creswell Hall, and we at UGA call it Crusty Creswell. I'm not even gonna kind of try to sit and cap in. We call Creswell Crusty Creswell. You're gonna say here during orientation, I don't know, there's just been lots of sightings of some questionable things going on in Creswell, some questionable specimens. But nonetheless, Creswell, definitely I can say that it gives you that traditional freshman experience with like meeting people, just because it's a very open door policy, especially when you first move in. A very lively, bubbly atmosphere. And here at Creswell, we have 9 floors with elevators and in-room sinks. You do have community bathrooms. Nothing too crazy with Creswell, but it's just known as that building on campus that's just very like this. Interesting place to live and potentially visit. I'd say visit. So last but not least, we have Russell Hall. And Russell Hall is actually pretty famous on campus because it's majority where freshmen usually want to live. It actually also went under renovation, and Russell's actually the tallest of the 3 buildings and the tallest on campus. It has 10 floors with elevators. It also has academic center on the first floor, so just a very good spot for freshmen who need maybe academic help or some support. Here we also have double rooms with community bathroom, and then it also hosts students who are doing the Thrive program, in which you can come here a month before campus really opens for fall and start to earn credits. Of course, with COVID, things might be a little bit different. I know like this past summer they didn't really do that, but maybe this summer that'll be an option. But on to the next community, in my opinion, the most important community, the most influential community, which is going to be our ECV or East Campus Village community. So in ECV, or East Campus Village, home to the best buildings here on campus. It is located in East Campus, so like I mentioned, each community has its own pros and cons. I can say that a con of ECB might be that fact that it's a little bit away from like Tate area and MLC, where you might have like your main classes. So of course, with living here, you have to like keep in mind that it's gonna take a little bit longer to get to your classes in the morning. So of course, you have to set out a time to leave earlier to have, you know, enough time to get on the bus and then also, you know, journey to class. So that's definitely a con, but I feel as though the pros outweigh the cons anyway. To begin with, each building has between 5 to 6 floors with elevators, and then you're going to have the home of the suite style. So ECV is going to be your closest bet to like a really nice apartment, and you're going to have apartment style living, suite style living with 2 to 4 bedrooms and then 1 to 2 bathrooms. So if you have a 4-bedroom apartment, you can have 2 bathrooms. 2-bedroom to 3-bedroom apartment is going to have between 1 to 2 bathrooms. So here at ECV, we do actually also have it's just very spacious. You're gonna have your living rooms here. If you watch my dorm tour, you saw that I've both times, my freshman and sophomore year now, I've had very just like a nice living room with the couches and sofas, and then you'll also have a kitchenette. So not a full kitchen, but you do have a sink, microwave, and cabinet space, and you know, like countertop, and then also a full fridge with a freezer. So literally like your closest bet to an apartment living style. I loved living here both my freshman and sophomore year. And then you also do have laundry rooms on both the top and usually the bottom floors. You will see in most of the other living spaces and living communities, they have twin beds, but here at ECV we have a full bed. Depending on like your living, you know, assignment, you may have a room with 2 people in it or just your own room by yourself. But regardless, you have your own private bathrooms. It's usually also where the athletes live. So that puts it into perspective. As you can imagine, our athletes here on campus, they do definitely have very special treatment. So if you're living in the same space as them, you do kind of see that it's definitely a nice living space to live in. I will say that it does have a more quiet feel. So I talked to y'all about having that very bubbly living experience, living in a high rise, you know, open door policy. Here in ECV, if you walk in, the hallways are very quiet. And even when it's move-in, it's very much so a quiet residential living space. It can be a bit harder to meet people. It's up to you to make the most of like, you know, your space, and you know, you can still knock on doors, meet people, but in terms of like that, you know, really authentic, traditional, like walk down the hall, know everybody on your hall, know everybody's name on your hall, like that's not what it is here in ECV. It's close to the Ramsey Center, which is going to be like our big gym here on campus where, you know, athletes train, people work out. 10 out of 10. Then we have University Village residential community, and also too, when I was moving in my freshman year, I was very much so confused as to what UV was like. It's farther than ECV. So as you can imagine, a little bit farther from main campus as well. And University Village, it definitely is your closest to an apartment, as in no kitchenettes. You do have your full stove, like gas stoves, and full kitchen. However, University Village, in my opinion, I'm gonna give you like the real deal. We've had people refer to it as the projects. I feel like with proper attention and adequate like care and renovation, UV could really be something. But at the moment, UV is like a last resort. As an undergrad, you can live here, but also too, there are grad students living here, and then also people with families, like people with children living in UV. So that kind of might give you an idea of what it's like. So it is more isolated from campus, definitely, and it's just very quiet. It's a certain feel and look when you go to UV. I don't know, it just needs some renovations. Not really the best place you want to live in as a freshman. You won't really meet many people, and I honestly feel like you might just feel left out of campus. A very long bus ride to get back to campus. I've had people that I know live there, and you know, they made the most of their experience as well, but they also did come to ECV more. So last but not least, we have the health science community. So health sciences, as an undergraduate, do not live here. Health sciences is going to be more for your graduate students, and then also students who are partnered with our UGA medical school program with Medical College of Georgia. Health sciences is very, very far from campus, like main campus. It's actually 2 miles from the Arch, and I think there's like 1 bus that goes to that area. As an undergraduate, I don't even know if you can actually live here. I don't even think they like offer that to undergraduate students, especially freshmen. I can say a pro of living here though is that it's next to the niche. And the niche, in my opinion, is the best dining spot on campus. Like I said, I really would not recommend a freshman living here because it's way more than isolated. I don't even think it's an option to live here, but if you take anything from this video, do not live on Hustlers campus. So that is all for this video. I hope you guys really were able to take something from this, guys. University housing. I hope it kind of answers some questions that I've been getting and also questions that might arise, you know, as you're looking into registering for housing. And yeah, I really hope that it's kind of give you some insights and just some tips as far as what to pick. To wrap up, definitely can vouch for ECV any day, anytime. But like I said, there's an abundance of spaces to live here on campus, so you know, anywhere is where you make it. And honestly, across all colleges, housing is what you make it. So wherever you live on campus, you can definitely have the best experience. You're not gonna miss out on more living in a certain place. So it's just really a matter of, you know, your time here on campus and just your attitudes towards, you know, just your campus life. So I really hope for my prospective students that you do choose UGA. That's all for this video. I will catch y'all in a future video. Until then, goodbye.